Indianapolis. The news starts now.
It continues. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. The Senate will reconvene later today, Sunday, to vote once again on a bill aimed at ending the government shutdown now on a record-breaking day 40.
Republicans are hoping they can make some headway into ending the shutdown today. They're aiming for a test vote on a temporary spending plan. GOP members are optimistic they can get some Democratic support to reach the 60-vote threshold to break the filibuster. But there are still outstanding issues like the lack of a bill text. There's also nothing concrete on Obamacare subsidies. If the proposal passes, it would be a blow for progressives and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who have hung their fight on the ACA tax credits, only to be burned by members of their own party.
And that is Fox's Madeline Rivera in D.C. Meantime, air travelers paying a big price because of that shutdown. Fox's Chanley Painter.
Frustration is growing at airports across the country as thousands of flights continue to be delayed or canceled due to the government shutdown. According to FlightAware, right now, more than 400 flights are delayed and over 1,000 are canceled. And yesterday saw more than 8,300 flights canceled or delayed. Airports hit hardest were Atlanta, Chicago, Newark, and Charlotte. The travel nightmare stems from the FAA mandating flight cancellations. It's the result of air traffic controllers calling out sick after not getting paid, and it's only expected to get worse. The FAA is ordering a 4% reduction in flights this weekend. That will ramp up to 6% by Tuesday and 10% by Friday.
And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy saying those flight delays and cancellations could last for weeks even after the shutdown ends. A New York City firefighter died yesterday in the line of duty. 42-year-old Patrick Brady was on the roof of a burning building in Brooklyn when he suffered a medical episode and went into cardiac arrest. Brady was an 11-year veteran of the FDNY. America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You might hear this and go, say it ain't snow. I'm Sean Herrick. Here's what's trending this hour. Andrew White is a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis, and he says snowfall will increase heading into Monday.
We're going to have some snow falling during the morning, probably rush hour, really across the state.
He says areas in northern Indiana will get the heaviest amounts of snow.
So once you get south of the lake area, it's going to be much lower. We're seeing amounts in Indianapolis, probably around an inch, and a lot of that snow is going to be sticking more on the grassy surfaces versus the roads.
White urges you to wear the winter coat and gloves this week because he says you'll need them with the temperatures hovering around the freezing mark. 2 people who took part in the 2025 C&O Financial Indianapolis Monumental Marathon died on Saturday. Organizers of the marathon say they both had medical emergencies that were not related to one another. The group that puts on the marathon is called Beyond Monumental, and they say they've been working with first responders and medical personnel to give them whatever they need. On Saturday, the Indiana Hoosier football team beat Penn State at Penn State for the first time ever in their program history. The final score, Indiana 27, Penn State 24.
The team refused to lose, and proud of this football team.
Indiana Hoosier football coach Kurt Signetti talking after the win. Lawrence North graduate Omar Cooper made the game-winning catch on a pass from Fernando Mendoza in the back of the end zone. Indiana's now started their season 10-0 for the second straight year. I'm Sean Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy skies, breezy with temperatures falling into the 30s this afternoon. Some snow showers possible as well. A few flurries tonight with lows near 25. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
No, we're going to Berlin.
Get the hell out of Dodge and head to Europe.
We're going to Berlin.
Guten Tag.
Welcome aboard First Day Flight 1109 to Berlin. Your captain flying this plane is Terri Stacy, and I'm Kylan Talley, your lead flight attendant today. Before we take off, please make sure your radio is on and in its upright position to 93.1 FM for the remainder of the flight. Our flight time today will be a brief of 55 minutes. We should have smooth conditions, unless Captain Stacy decides she'd prefer turbulence. Reminder, keep your drink in your hand, especially when the drink light is on. For your safety, cursing is prohibited throughout the aircraft, and if they aren't already, we do highly recommend switching your devices to game day mode. Our aircraft has 0 emergency exits, so you will have to stay dialed in for the rest of the hour. Thank you for choosing to fly with us today on First Day. We're glad you're here and looking forward to serving you the rest of the way through Berlin.
Atta girl, Kylan. That's beautiful.
It's game day.
It's game day, 11:07. Good morning, everybody. Terri Stacy along with Kylan Talley. Denny is off today, and this is the First Day show. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. I know Colts are on, and we are here just until noon when we get you set for IU basketball, IU taking on Marquette. But our 7-2 Colts are in Germany. You're probably watching right now. It is halftime. They're taking on the Falcons, and they looks like up to this point, up until this day, they have been having the best time in Berlin, and it is a very historic day as well there too. But they have built a playground. They've been very active and busy in Berlin. Right now on the phone with us from the game is the 2023 International Colts Fan of the Year, Christoph Marschall. Christoph, hi.
Hi guys, how are you?
We're great. You're at the game, right? You're at the game?
I think we're sitting in the first row behind our fans. They can see all our players. It's amazing to be here.
Colts are trailing at halftime, 14-13, and Christoph Marschall is with us. We do have a little bit of a muddy sound, Christoph. We're going to check that line for a minute. Let's try this. How long? Let's see if we can get a clearer sound. How long have you been a diehard Colts fan?
Colts fan since 2000. Peyton Manning was the beginning of the
Kylan, I'm afraid we're having a little trouble hearing you. Christoph, unfortunately, you're in Berlin. So I know it's probably tough, and you're at the Colts game. It's been a lot of fun to watch, as I mentioned, as we follow them on social media. Blue is such a huge hit in Berlin, just as he is here, but having the best time. They did build a playground for some kids there in Berlin, but it's really cool. And again, it's a historic day there. 35 years ago today, the Berlin Wall fell November 9th, 1989. During the Peaceful Revolution, marking the beginning of the destruction of the figurative Iron Curtain as East Berlin transit restrictions were overwhelmed and discarded. It was one of the series of events that started the fall of communism in Central and Eastern Europe. This is Terri Stacy along with Kylan Talley. We're trying to get a better connection with our 2023 International Colts Fan of the Year, who is there. He's been to the Colts game several times, and I from what I remember, hearing about him. He's been a Colts fan for about 10 years, and he's the president of the Blue Crew Europe, and he tells us that there are quite a few fans in Germany. We got him?
Yes. Hopefully this will do a little bit better.
Hey, Christoph, are you there?
Hi. Yeah, now I'm here.
There you go. What's the atmosphere like right now? Where you inside of this beautiful a place that you're in, this stadium, Olympic Stadium?
Yeah, the whole crowd is fired up. It is a close game. All are fighting. Now we started second half. It is really nice to be here. All fans are really, really fired up.
Are there more? Do you think there are more Colts fans there than Falcons fans?
For sure, there's no question. I think we have much fans of all teams here, but the most are Colts fans. I think half of the stadium is blue.
That's so cool.
Being the president of Blue Crew Europe,
yeah.
I think you've done a great job pulling all of the fans together. But that also goes with all of the pre-game day activities and everything leading up to this game. Talk about the full experience so far up to this game, too.
Yeah, I'm in Berlin signed Saturday for the event, working with the Colts together with a watch party at Steelers. Then signed Thursday. The Colts have the center as the Colts house. That is a really amazing place. A big stage. Kicker challenge. Wide receiver challenge. Some legends. Really amazing.
It's so cool. How did you become interested in American football, Christoph?
In 2008 it was starting, some late night watching TV. So what is that for kind of sport? So I was looking at, and the love was beginning. And then 2009 comes Peyton Manning with a 14-0 start in the season.
That's so cool. So it was Peyton Manning. It was some of those players that you fell in love with, and it was such a fun time. So you've been a Colts fan for a long while, but this is not your first Colts game. Have you been here a few times to the United States?
Yeah, my first time was 2023 against the Giants in New York. Then 1 year later, after the Frankfurt game, I was against the Texans in Indy. And last year I was 5 weeks in November there for the games in Minnesota against Detroit and Bills. So, and against the Jets. It was really amazing to be there.
I love all of the traveling that's being done from you guys coming over here and then us coming to you guys. Have you met any U.S. fans there at the stands right now?
So much of them guys. I know some of the Indy Blue Crew, the best fan club in the U.S. And the oldest family of the Colts. The director of them, Janice Hartman, is here, still in Germany. So, and I have much more guys like Clyde from the Angle podcast. It is so amazing. I think here is over 1,000 U.S. guys only for the Colts.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so part of the game day experience, Christoph, is food. And so in Olympic Stadium, what is the food that you're having today? What have you eaten?
Hot dogs today.
Hot dogs?
Well, yeah. I like hot dogs.
Hot dogs are good, but not like a slab of strudel.
No, this was the last time we have tried.
You know, before we let you go, I do want to mention, as we said, it's a very historic day in Berlin with the anniversary 35 years ago with the Berlin Wall that fell on this date in 1989. Are you old enough to remember that date?
No, I was born in this year.
Oh, born. Okay.
This was my birthday. I was I think 3 or 4 or 5 months old. So.
Yeah, you were obviously too young. Not there, right? Okay, we're gonna let you go, Christoph. Have the best time. Give us a Colts cheer before we let you go from Berlin.
Let's go, Colts!
There you go. The game is third quarter just beginning. Colts trailing 14-13 against the Falcons in Olympic Stadium. Thank you so much, Christoph. Congratulations, 2023. You're still living that dream of becoming a Colts legend, and you really are as you received that International Colts Fan of the Year. Thank you so much, Christoph. Have fun.
Thank you for the invite. Have a nice day.
You do the same.
Go Colts.
Go Colts. All right, this week we're going to salute our veterans. And we've got my conversation with a Vietnam vet who decided it's time to tell his story after all these years of staying silent. That's coming up next right here on the first day. Thanks for being here, 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a product development manager, I make
L. McCarran, who spent decades avoiding that question, a lot of questions about his time in Vietnam. Colonel McCarran, we are so happy to have you with us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Thank you for serving our country first and foremost, and thank you for sharing some time with us today. Colonel McCarran is telling his story in his new book. It's titled "And the Tears Flowed." How old were you when you went to Vietnam to fight on the front line?
I was an old man compared to most kids. Most kids were, they're 17, 18, 19. I was 25.
You were 25. How long did you serve?
I served 24 and a half years and retired to take a civilian job in the Pentagon.
Let's remind listeners that 58,220 United States service members died in Vietnam. Did you believe that you'd make it home?
No.
You did not?
To be honest, no. When you're a platoon leader in Vietnam, much like your radio operators, you're the main target of the enemy. If they can take out the leadership, all to their benefit. So, no, I did not think I'd ever make it.
That part of your Vietnam experience, that must have shaped you both as a soldier and a man.
I returned from Vietnam in 1967. I was unmarried at the time, but later that year I married. People would ask me about Vietnam, and I just wouldn't talk about it. My normal response was, if you weren't there, you would never understand. And I felt that, truly. It was hard for me to come to grips and be able to explain some of the stuff I went through. And I guess I was that way until I went to my first Vietnam reunion in 1986. There was only 22 of us at the reunion. It was a battalion reunion, but there were 22 charter members. And of course, when you get together with comrades in arms, you start talking. I think we blew our wives' minds. It was the first time they heard what went on. And my wife even said later, "I can't believe what you went through." It's hard to explain, but that was the way it was. I arrived at the hotel, checked in. The first person I saw was my former first sergeant in Vietnam. And, of course, it was great seeing him. But what was even greater, when I went to unload my vehicle, the door of the motel room opened, and it was my first company commander, Roy Martin. We started talking, and it was easy for me from then on to talk about my experiences. And like I said, when we sat around in the hospitality room and started talking among each other, the wives were hearing stories that they had never heard.
Yeah.
And they were flabbergasted. And they understood why we did some of the things we did. I mean, I was never violent towards my wife, but I'd be short-tempered. I have PTSD. I do, go off on people. I don't know. I don't want to say stupid people, but they hit me. They hit me wrong, and I feel they're stupid, and I'll let them know.
Bless your heart. This is retired Lieutenant Colonel William McCarran, and he's written a book, and it's called "And the Tears Flowed," a Vietnam veteran. Many Vietnam veterans have struggled with how to share their experiences. How did it feel to remember that time in your life and then put it down on paper?
Well, I started that book years ago. Like I said, I actually bought a computer in 2003 with the main intention of writing a book. But then I'd sit down at the computer, try to put my thoughts together, try to start putting stuff on paper, and I just couldn't do it. I might write a paragraph or so, and then I can't do this. I can't. And my wife kept urging me, she's since deceased, but she kept urging me, you need to put it on paper. You need to write this book. So she passed away in 2017. In 2023, New Year's resolution, I said, I'm going to write that book, and I'm going to finish it before I go to my next Vietnam reunion. I kept a lot of stuff, so I could read it and then pull it right back into my memory, and then I could sit and start typing. And that was going in and pulling out the pictures of those who didn't make it, because that's what the book's about. It's to recognizing these young men fought for their country and died for their country. And I named the book And the Tears Flowed because people read the book and they find out when we got ambushed and I lost my radio telephone operator. He was killed in action. After that battle, like 11 o'clock at night, I'd gotten people into position, and then I just sat down and I cried. I couldn't stop crying.
And the tears flowed. That's the name of the book. And now we know why. We know.
That's why. It was the same after all the battles. It was the same. I guess the adrenaline just flowing so strong in you, and after it's all over, it just comes out. The publishing company thought I should come up with another title. I said, no, that's the title I want.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about what you remember most vividly about your time in Vietnam? The sights, the sounds, the people? Is it just awful memories, or are there some good memories in there, too?
There's always some good memories. I mean, I made friends, and we've stayed friends through all these years. The sad part is now most of the people I served with, they've passed on. You know, they came home from Vietnam. They lived good lives, but they're now reaching the age where, I mean, let's face it, I'm 85 years old. Of course, almost all of them that served when I was there, my first tour, they were like 18, 19, 20 years old. And they're all in their 70s now or 80s now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you're living history, and we need to hear your stories, and I'm glad you're doing it.
But I had good memories of those, but then I've had the bad memories. I'm not sure that people understand the life of an infantryman. You go into the field, you might be out there a couple of weeks and then come back to base camp, but it's dirty, grimy. You're always afraid you're going to get ambushed. Most of us were in constant fear that we're going to walk into something. In my opinion, people have this vision that we're fighting. They're farmers during the day and they're guerrillas at night. That's not true. These were well-trained, well-prepared soldiers, North Vietnamese soldiers. That's mainly what we went up against. We were fighting a well-trained army. You know, the mosquitoes, the heat, everything it's always there, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And you never get relief.
You know, as we approach Veterans Day, what does that day mean to you personally?
It means everything. I lower my flag. I have a statue of a soldier in my yard, and I adorn it with flags. I reflect always on the people we lost. If people look and read the book and see the pictures of all the young men that just in our battalion that died in the 1 year I was there, they'd be amazed. I honor them all the time. Not just Veterans Day. I think about them all the time. And I go to the reunion every year, and we always had a memorial dinner in honor of those guys that didn't make it.
This book is called, again, And the Tears Flowed. Colonel, how do they get a copy of your book?
It's available on Amazon.
Okay. Has it been therapeutic to kind of share your story now?
Absolutely. I've had a number of really nice compliments on the book.
We certainly are so grateful to you for your service and your sacrifice in keeping our country safe and others too around our world. And we are really grateful that you wrote this book too, And the Tears Flowed. You can get it on Amazon and elsewhere. Thank you so much for giving us your time today, sir. Take good care of yourself, and thank you again. God bless your heart.
I thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to tell my story.
I want to remind you that the 2025 Veterans Day Parade here in Indianapolis is on Tuesday, starting at noon at Michigan and Pennsylvania. The parade route will go south on Penn to New York and then north to Meridian Street. I hope you'll come out, stand along the sidewalks, show them your appreciation. I know it means the world to them to see you all. And Marines, they're celebrating 250 years tomorrow. We'll talk to a Marine veteran's mom after the break. This is the first day. News is next. the United States Marine Corps is celebrating their 250th anniversary on November 10th with various events that are nationwide. And knowing that, I began searching for info on the Marine Corps history, and I came upon a fantastic community online at marineparents.com. I'm so excited to meet the founder and Marine mom, and joining us now is Tracy Della Vecchia. Hello, Tracy.
Hi, Terri. Thanks for inviting us to talk with you. I appreciate it. Spectacular time to talk about the Marine Corps.
Before we talk about marineparents.com, tell us about your incredible son, Derek, who was in Marine boot camp on 9/11.
Yeah, in boot camp on 9/11. And I remember thinking, he was there for 2 weeks when 9/11 happened. And I remember thinking, I've got to get on a plane and I've got to fly to San Diego and I've got to bring him home and tell him he's made a huge mistake. And I still get teary-eyed when I think about that's what I wanted to do. Our country was going to go to war, and by golly, my son wasn't going to go to war. I was his protector, and suddenly now he's my protector. And that's a big change. It's a big change for a mom who's afraid of war. So it was pretty incredible. I can remember coming back from he flew back to Kansas City with us, and then we drove to Columbia, and everywhere you looked, there were American flags flying all over the place. I'd never seen a fall with so much red, white, and blue in my life. And it was just incredible. And I remember thinking that, I had been his protector, and now he's my protector. And he's like, "Don't worry, Mom, that's what Marines do."
He knew he wanted to be a Marine since he was 4?
Yeah, 4 years old. 4 years old. He would crawl around in the backyard on his belly, and he was a Marine. My dad was in the Vietnam War, and he had his flak jacket and combat boots and things like that. So there's this, little 4-year-old boy putting on this huge flak jacket and these combat boots and crawling around on his belly in the backyard.
You say that the time leading up to his graduation, which was Thanksgiving weekend, were the longest weeks of your life.
Well, the inevitability of going to war, but at that point in time, I was pretty naive. I thought, they're not going to send the new grunts to war. little did I know that that's exactly who they send to war. So, everybody goes. You're in the Marine Corps, everybody's going. So it just that unease and uncertainty of, I'm sending my kid to war, I grew up in a military family, and even my mother at that time, she said, I have no idea. She sent my dad off to war many times, taking him to a flight, and he was going back to Vietnam again. And I remember her saying, I just can't imagine sending your child. It was one thing to send my husband to war, but another thing altogether to send your child. So, the same son that would tell me he didn't know how to turn the vacuum cleaner on and he's going to go swing an M16. So, yeah, a little bit of trepidation there.
The accident that Derek was involved with during the war, you say that it will affect him in a profound way for the rest of his life.
Oh, it does. And, I still get tears in my eyes when I think about that. He was a radio operator, and so the comm guys, you push forward all day long with the battalion, and then at the end of the day, the comm guys go backwards to change the crypto in the communication system so the enemy doesn't get a hold of the messages and things like that. So they go back in a Humvee, and they had to drive along an irrigation canal, and the Humvee rolled over in the canal, and water filled the Humvee, and his friend, his fellow Marine, William White, drowned in the Humvee, and Derek worked really, really hard to save William, and it didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
What a tragedy. It's so sad. I hope that Derek is able to find some peace knowing that he did everything he could and was by his side until the very end. How long did Derek serve?
Yeah, he served 4 years. So, he wanted to be a Marine for the rest of his life. When he was 4 years old, that's all he was going to be with the Marine. But, at that point in time, he had done 3 combat tours back and forth to Iraq, and that was all the war he could do. So he changed his mind and became a civilian.
But then there's homecoming. Hundreds of other parents and wives and family. And you said that you have never experienced anything as overwhelmingly joyous in your life.
Yeah, a most incredible event, that's for sure. And I can't even describe the emotion of actually finally seeing him again. And it's funny. The things that I remember are that, wait, you're still dirty. He still had sand on him. So funny that those are the things that kind of stand out in my mind now after 23 years ago. And he had 2 toothbrushes in his Kevlar pockets. They have these little things at the front. And one was gray, and the other one, the bristles were black. And I'm like, well, why do you need 2? And why are you hanging on to these nasty old toothbrushes? He's like, well, pulls out the one with the gray, and he's like, this is the one I brush my teeth with. And then pulls out the other one, he's like, this is the one that I clean my weapon with. And I was like, no. So that was one of the first conversations that we had was about these horrible toothbrushes. We sent thousands and thousands of care packages overseas to Marines when our country was engaged. Very, very proud moments as Marine parents being able to ship toothbrushes to our kids overseas.
So tell us about MarineParents.com, which you began in 2003, and what parents of Marines will find there.
I started it because at that time there wasn't one place where you could find all the information, and the Marine Corps didn't have helpful things for parents. They certainly helped spouses and that kind of thing, but not for the parents of the Marines. So I started this as a way to connect Marine parents together to talk about what is it like to send your kid to war, and then what's it like when your kid gets injured, and then sadly, what's it like when your kid is killed overseas, and all of those families came together in this beautiful space of being able to talk about those very raw emotions of having sent our kids to war, Yeah. And so, through the years, it's evolved and changed. Like I said, we did care packages for a while. We had the Warrior Support Team for a while. We had a Purple Heart Hero Support, varying different programs that the organization would do depending on where we were in service to our country. So, and today it's evolved to the point, we're not engaged any longer. We do certainly have deployments, but they're not to combat zones. Train all day and pray all night, but train for war and pray you don't have to go to war. So through the years, we've evolved to a variety of different things. Right now, because we don't have, our troops aren't engaged, which means in combat, we're focused on boot camp and helping parents get through boot camp, and that immediate fear that you have as a parent. Wait a minute, my son or my daughter wants to be a Marine. Are you kidding me? So they can come on board at Marine Parents. We have a place to connect and share. That's been our registered trademark since I started the organization, and connect with other parents and family members who understand what it's like to know that your kid just signed on the dotted line that he or she would give his life for his country. Yeah. That's big stuff, Yeah. So that's a big deal. A lot of emotions go along with that.
Well, the Marines are celebrating their 250th birthday on November 10th. With us is Tracy Dellavecchio. She is a Marine mom, and she's founder of MarineParents.com. There's an interesting story about where the Marines were born 250 years ago.
At Ton Tavern. Yeah. And the reality is that they used the bar as a meeting place and to recruit individuals. It was actually their recruiting station. But yeah, it's very fitting that the Marine Corps was born at Ton Tavern. So.
And where is Ton Tavern?
Ton Tavern it's in Philadelphia. But I mean, it's not there anymore. They have a rendition of what they think Ton Tavern looks like then, but there's no actual photos of Ton Tavern. It's kind of like that mythical, legendary Ton Tavern.
In this season of gratitude, what are you most thankful for this year in 2025?
Oh, gosh. One of the things that I'm most thankful for is that we were able to leap off of the Facebook platform into an entirely different platform that people are like, wait a minute, I don't get it. I don't understand this. We're still able to hold their hands. They still followed us there. They're still connecting with one another. And even though we made this mad leap of faith out into this entirely new platform, we're all still together. And that I am thankful for.
Tracy Della Vecchia, she is a Marine mom and founder of MarineParents.com. What a great support system it is for Marine parents. I hope you'll check that out. And thank you for spending time with us today as we celebrate the United States Marine Corps' 250th anniversary on November 10th.
And here's to the next 250 years of the Marine Corps, Terry. Thank you. I appreciate you very much.
Amen.
Take care.
She's terrific. It is 11:46. It is day 40, ladies and gentlemen, of the government shutdown. As it continues, it has certainly affected travel. But if it would, let's say the government opens up tomorrow. I mean, they're meeting again today. We'll see what happens. But let's say it would open up tomorrow. Does everything at the airport go right back to normal, like a light switch? Do flights run on time? No more delays, cancellations? We've got a travel expert that will join us next here on the first day. 93 WIBC.
Grocery.
But now that I found a home, feels like I'm in heaven. See, I've been traveling forever. But now that I'm home, feels like I'm in heaven.
It's 11:52. Colts trailing in this is the fourth quarter. 14 minutes to go. 17-13. Colts behind.
Come on, guys.
A lot of time on the clock. On the clock in Berlin. It is day 40 of the government shutdown. This country's a mess. Let's just say it. FAA has reduced air traffic by, I think, 4% on Friday across those high-volume markets, and Indy is on that list and saying 10% by the end of this week if the shutdown continues. Again, Senate meeting again today, maybe later this afternoon. We'll see. Kylan and I spoke with Amanda Steele. She's the owner of Indy Travel Leaders, indytravelleaders.com, and we asked her if she's got a flight going out tomorrow or the next couple of days, what concerns would she have as a travel expert?
So the first thing I would think of is 10%. It seems like a big number, but let's remember 10%, it's not huge. There will be some flights impacted, but 10%, we can manage that. First thing I would tell myself, I'm going to get there early. If my flight's at 6 a.m., I'm going to plan to get there 2, if not 3 hours ahead of that. The earlier is the better, that's for sure.
We've got people that have asked us, hey, I'm thinking about Thanksgiving 2 weeks away. If the government shutdown ends right now, does everything in the travel industry then go right back to normal?
It typically will. We have to think that this is affecting the airlines on a whole big scale. It's a much larger scale. So they're going to try to get those routes back in order as quick as they can. They want to get back on schedule just as much as we want them to get back on schedule. So knowing that Thanksgiving is just around the corner, we've got Christmas, we've got 2 of our biggest peak seasons coming up. They're going to get back on track just as soon as they absolutely can.
The worry is if it doesn't, should people be looking to change their holiday plans and work around something that may continue into December?
Absolutely, and that's one thing that we'll do. So as travel agents, we always have to plan ahead. So I know I have several clients that are traveling here this weekend. I've checked in with them, just letting them know, hey, you could have a flight that's affected. Just letting them know flexibility is important. Of course, we don't want to have to pivot. We don't want to have to make changes, but we can. A couple of things to keep in mind. When you're traveling, downloading the airline's app. So if you're traveling on American, if you're on Southwest, if you have that app, it's such a pivotal tool when you're traveling. That'll help you even chat with the airline directly. So instead of waiting in that long line for customer service, you can get on a chat and say, hey, my flight's been affected. Can you help me make that change? And airlines can. That's what we're here to do, too. We're kind of that airline backup in situations like that.
What should we know about our rights as a passenger if our trip is delayed or canceled?
So if your flight is canceled, if it's canceled or delayed significantly, with significant delays or cancellations, the airlines, you are entitled to a refund by the airline. Now, if it's a minor delay, if it's a 20, 30-minute delay, that's a different story. If it is a true cancellation, you are entitled to a refund, assuming that you didn't book anything in a basic economy fare, if it's a true airline main cabin fare. So that's something to keep in mind. If it's a canceled flight, again, delays are a different story. If it's a missed connection, the airlines will help you rebook those too.
Kylan?
I'm sure you've been giving a lot of ease to your clients who are booking some travel plans right now, especially with the government shutdown that also has affected air control traffic employees. Have you had to do anything or have you seen anything around that and some of the shortage that we've had with air traffic controllers?
Yeah, the one thing that I have noticed is the lines at the airport for TSA to get through security. They're longer, so I'm just telling as many clients as I can, please get there early because you just never know what to expect with those lines. That, I think, is our biggest change right now, just with those wait times. I know that a lot of the airports around the country are feeling that. They're busy. There's a lot of passengers, and unfortunately, they just don't have the staff right now to handle the amount of passengers that they have.
Amanda Steele, she's the owner of Indy Travel Leaders, indytravelleaders.com. They specialize in fun and family and romance. Okay, any other tips or advice to our listeners right now that are traveling here over the next few days, over the next couple of weeks for holiday travel?
Yes, the best thing I can tell you, pack your patience. Pack your patience. Be flexible. If you have to pivot, you have to. I know we don't always like change, but sometimes we just don't have the option. Travel insurance is a huge, huge feature. It's one of those that I always will offer to my clients. You never know when you might need it. If you have a flight delay, if you have a misconnection, that travel insurance is just one more thing that we can fight for if we need it.
Is it ugly out there?
It's wild. It's one of those. I mean, we've been through it all. This is just one more challenge that we're faced with, but we're here to help. We're here to help our clients, and that's what we want to do.
You're terrific. All right. If anybody would like to get in touch with Amanda and her crew, you go to, again, IndyTravelLeaders.com. Amanda Steele. I'm sorry, Kylie?
I have one more question.
Okay.
We've talked so much about the wild and the crazy, but you do specialize in fun and family.
That's right.
Can we end on a fun travel story that you've had over this year? Like one of the best trips that you've planned?
This year, especially, Europe has been huge. I've had a lot with Europe. I've done a lot with river cruises. I've done a lot with the Mediterranean. Alaska this year has been huge. That's been a really big one. Gosh, I wish I could say, this is one that really stood out, but we do so much around the world. Every trip to us means something. We appreciate all the clients that trust us to build those trips for them.
Amanda, thank you. We sure appreciate you. Come back and see us.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Go Colts. And hey, bundle up in the cold coming up. Ugh. IU Marquette basketball coming up next.
WIBC cares, and if you or someone you care about needs food assistance, we have resources for you, including food distribution locations with an interactive map. Also, learn how you can make a difference for friends and neighbors in need.